Okay, so I have my new piece of paper. I'm going to look at it, make sure I'm getting the textured side, which is the correct side to paint on. So that's with the Canson paper, it's the side that has more texture to it. And I'll attach. Oops. Try to get it even. Attach it to the paper. Okay. So, I can reuse my tape as long as it still can stick down the paper. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to take a pencil and just divide off the paper a little bit. So, what I'll do is come across like so. Let's see, about halfway, and just draw a line across. Now, notice as I draw my line, it doesn't have to be perfect, and you don't really have to do it with a ruler. It's just to divide the paper. But even at that, I'm trying to just move my arm and not the pencil. That okay. Then I'm going to divide this in half, paper in half. Try to draw a fairly straight line down the paper like that. Okay, so what we're going to do then is to practice. Now I'll just go through this, then at home, you can, do one segment, stop it, or rather, I'll do one of these squares. You can stop it and do that, then go to the next and do that, and just kind of follow along and stopping the video. So here I go again. I'm using, once again, I want this to be pretty liquid so that it fills up the hairs of my brush. And I'm going to start here and press down. I start very lightly because you're going to have to learn how to control the pressure on the brush. In certain areas when you're painting, you want to kind of barely touch it and then press down to get a larger area. Then if you need to lift up, like so. Now, you don't want to come in straight like this, straight down, because it will start to ruin the hairs of the brush to have that sort of pressure straight onto the hairs. You always want to come to the side and press down. Like so. So now we've kind of practiced going horizontal strokes like that. Now I'm running out of paint here. So I'm going to add more from my well, but I'm running out of paint there. I'm going to have to add some more paint here in a little bit. Because we're just using the one color, I'm not worried about the water becoming dirty because it's just using the same color. Okay, so here I am. I'm making sure the paint's really, liquid, but still kind of medium dark. And then when I go to paint, I drag my brush across the paint so I got a nice tip. Okay, and then I put the edge of my hand down on the paper. I can do it just with my finger or put my hand down, and then start thin, press down, pull up, like so. Okay, we start really light. So when I come in, I'm just barely touching at an angle, a very thin line, pressing down, pulling up. Press down, pull up. Oh, kind of wavy there. Okay. I kind of twisted it a little bit to get more control. Okay, so now I've got my vertical strokes. They're not going to be perfectly symmetrical. It's just you want to be controlling the pressure on the brush as you do this. I'm going to add a little more paint. So you can see that's how far we got with that first paint that I laid down there. And I'll come in and squeegee a little more water. Mix it. You don't want to get big clumps of paint on your paintbrush. Okay, then bring some of the paint over here. Some water. Okay, now we're going to use this stroke to make some little stars. I'll just help you get more control of it. So we start light, press down, pull up. Okay. Touch it lightly, press down, pull up. And lightly press down, pull up. Okay, and we'll just do a number of these. It gives a nice practice for trying to control the brush while you're making a little shape or little object. Oops, didn't get that fine line at the end. Okay, sometimes you gotta even maybe move your board around a little bit, possibly. You make sure there's room for the hand to be in the right position. Okay. So there are your stars. If you want to stop the video, you can go ahead and do 6 of these stars. Give that a try. And then we'll come back and do this final one. Now in the final, what we're going to do is start practicing just to begin with, to learn to make some little washes, kind of these little square washes. You're going to start to learn how to use the washes and use gravity to even out your washes. If your board is at an angle, which this is, then the water is going to want to flow down, and that will actually help even out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go this time press down. I'm going to take my brush, press down, and make a flat sort of rectangle across like this. But then I'm going to come into this stroke about halfway and come back. And then come into this stroke about halfway, come back, and then come back like that. And the goal is to try to make kind of an even little wash square shape. Now, if you get more pigment and more water, this actually works better. So I'm adding more water, added more pigment and water. So you get it pretty liquid. I'm going to do it a little faster this time. Cross, go into the middle of it, press down, go into the middle of it, press down, go into the middle, press down. The water is going to want to flow to the bottom. Now what you can do, you have this little dark spot. You can take your brush and you lightly dry it, just a little bit, and you pull this, it will actually pull the paint out, and you can touch this up a little bit if you want. Okay, so I'm going to do another one. I'm going to add water. The more water you add, it gets easier, but you don't want to get it so thin. Well, there are in some cases we want it really thin, but we're trying to get more or less a medium. Okay, so I'm going to take it, press down. Okay, then go across, press down, then go across. Now, by the time I get down at the bottom, I'm running out of paint, so it kind of dries a little bit. It gets more, getting closer to like a dry brush, but you really, that's why you need enough water in your brush. But the idea is to try to keep it even looking. Okay. You should get, if you want to get really even washes, at the bottom you should start to get a bead. Okay, let me come across here. You see that bead? Well, he's going to run down and get this bead down here. When you get the bead, you know you're starting to get a really nice even wash. Pull out the paint. Cross, pull out. Okay, and I'll do some small ones. Okay, it's flowing down. I get a bead, just go back into it, let it flow down. Okay, so that's how you get more of the even washes like that. And we'll be doing more of this later. This kind of gets you going. Okay, so more liquid, you get more even wash, and pull out paint at the bottom. Okay, so that will be this final segment for this lesson. And once again, you can pause the video, do the square, one square, then do another square, go to another, and this will kind of start us on our way. In our next lesson, we're going to use the round brush to start to make little leaf and flower forms and kind of build a picture of really simple little flowers with stems using this basic stroke.